This was my last video in case you missed it.
Pulled her out, put her in arm bars, slammed her to the ground, got her in custody.
How old is she?
She said she's 18.
It was crazy. Within 40 minutes of that video being posted, the city's social media was deleted. Within 24 hours, I believe, the officer was fired and all criminal charges against this high school girl were dropped. Then, believe it or not, the YouTube video itself became a part of the news story.
Then a civil rights attorney picked up the story and put it on YouTube.
They don't like to face the public. You know, if before the public has seen the footage, in a lot of these cases, you know, they will defend these officers, and that's what they did here.
We did not expect this at all. Certainly not this quickly.
The officer, Brian Schimmel, is no longer with the police department.
Yeah, the Whitley County prosecutor has dismissed the case against the teen.
A town councilman tells us that the town took down all of his social media pages because of threats.
So this is one of those examples of a YouTube video quickly getting accountability in a way that no civil lawsuit could even manage, much less that quickly. So let's go through the rest of the update about what happened. Also, I challenged commenters on YouTube and on Twitter that if they think this officer acted reasonably, give me their best argument. There were thousands and thousands and thousands of comments, almost none of them in support of the officer, but there were some. Let's go through some of them. But first, I want to tell you about the sponsor for today's video, and this is a great sponsor. People seem to always be surprised to learn that their private information is being collected and traded online. As both a content creator and a lawyer, privacy is important to me, which is why my sponsor today is again Incogni. Incogni not only tracks down the data brokers that have your information, but they also have that information and private data completely removed. I first started to use Incogni in August of 23 when they first reached out to me about a sponsorship, and since then Incogni has hands down been my favorite channel sponsor. I just created an account on day one and haven't had to do a single thing since. It just continues working like a privacy lint roller that just continues to remove your private data off the interwebs. As of today, Incogni has located my private information with 210 different data brokers. And to date, they have had that data deleted with 182 of these data brokers, with 28 others still in progress, which is 27 more removals just since last month, and I haven't had to do a thing. This would be a difficult and lengthy process to attempt, even with my experience and legal expertise. But I haven't had to do anything. You just set it and forget it. Incogni has done all of it for me, which is fantastic. So check out Incogni using the link below or go to incogni.com/civil to get an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan just for my viewers. Again, check out Incogni using the link below or go to incogni.com/civil to get an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan. Now back to the video. And one thing I should have already mentioned was, speaking of comments, there are always things I don't notice that people in the comments point out. One of those things is the alleged justification for all this had to do with the pretext of this window not being rolled down enough. Whether or not it's because he couldn't hear, or whether or not it's because she wasn't sufficiently respecting his authority. He apparently was triggered over the window not being down.
Pull over for headlight speed.
Okay.
Cracks her window. Ask her to roll it down the rest of the way. Cracks it another ½ inch. Cracks the window. Ask her to roll the window down a little bit more. All the commotion and the rain, I can't hear her.
Yeah.
Refuses to do that.
That's probably my bad because I've instructed her that you roll the window down like that much.
Absolutely. You don't have to roll it down all the way as long as you can get the ID out.
Yeah,
the problem is when I can't hear because of traffic and the rain and everything. We're in a gas station.
I know.
But if we look at all this footage we have of her window, we can just look to the store surveillance camera to see that she actually rolled her window down. Contrary to the lie told by Officer Schimmel, she rolled her window down and he went ahead and opened her car door. Thus, the window was a complete lie, completely irrelevant. And additionally, we can completely blow the claim that he, just needed to communicate with her completely out of the water. Why? Look how Officer Schimmel was able to easily communicate with the third-party bystander who came up in his car.
You're going to have to back out, man. There's no room over there.
Plug up the whole damn parking.
Okay, well, the problem here, sir, is that she pulled in here. I didn't pull her in here, so get off my scene. Get off my scene.
All right, I know you want to go over the comments, as do I, but before we get to that, so after I released this video, I hit the road, I was traveling, staying in a hotel room, and this video goes viral. Next thing you know, the local news in Indiana, I believe Fort Wayne, Indiana, contacts me. They want to interview me because apparently after it went viral, boom, the town just deleted their social media. They're getting bombarded by the public, outraged over what they see in this video. So the local news now wants to interview me about the video. So we set up a time. I'm in my hotel room. That's when they first informed me, the reporter, Taylor Williams, all the charges had been dropped against Vivian and that also the police officer had been terminated. And this is from her news report that was released that night. I believe this was Friday night. South Whitley, Indiana, charges against a South Whitley 18-year-old have been dismissed and her arresting officer is no longer employed due to safety concerns after video of the woman's arrest prompted nationwide calls for an investigation into the officer's conduct. A town councilman who requested to remain anonymous after receiving several death threats related to the incident was able to confirm South Whitley officer Brian Schimmel is no longer with the agency. On Friday, Whitley County Prosecutor DJ Sigler released a statement saying that all charges against Vivian Augustus have been dropped. And it was a good thing that the prosecutor chose to drop the charges because they were not going to hold up to a shred of scrutiny, much less with the entire nation looking on in a real courtroom. Why? Vivian's father, Brent, sent me the criminal case documents. This includes the officer's police report. So let's look at that and see if this would have held up in court. This is what he says. I approached the driver's side front door of the Chevrolet where I observed the driver, Vivian Augustus, to have her window rolled completely up. Vivian rolled the window down approximately a half inch. I introduced myself as an officer with the South Whitley Police Department and the reason for the stop. I also asked for her driver's license and registration at this time as well. While trying to communicate with Vivian, the noise outside was preventing me from being able to hear anything she was saying, and I was unsure if she could hear me clearly. Vivian did not give me her identification or registration, which made me believe she could not hear me. Large semi-trucks with trailers were traveling with a high volume of traffic on State Street. The rain hitting the metal awning and the Chevrolet itself, along with Marathon's normal business noise, made it extremely difficult to hear Vivian or conduct my investigation safely. I asked Vivian to roll her window down all the way in an attempt to be able to hear her more clearly and ensure she could hear me as well. Vivian rolled her window down another approximate half inch to where the window was now down approximately 1 inch. I asked Vivian again to roll her window down all the way, advising her that I could not hear her with Vivian asking why. At this point, I determined with the noise level and high fog in the area, it would be safer for both Vivian and myself to continue the investigation outside of her vehicle and in front of my patrol vehicle. I asked Vivian to exit her vehicle with her refusing. I opened the driver's door so I could hear Vivian better and told her to exit the vehicle again. Vivian refused to exit the vehicle. It goes on, but that is his BS story. What he didn't know at the time, and what maybe prosecutors didn't realize until after attention was brought on this, is that the Marathon gas station surveillance camera shows almost all of that to be a lie. They claim that she didn't roll her window down. We can clearly see on the video. Who are you going to believe, Officer Schimmel or your lying eyes? She rolled her window down all the way. That was a lie. They could not bring that into court. That was a lie. So when it comes to his claim that he asked her 5 times to get out of the car and she refused, or she refused to provide her ID, which was the actual thing she was charged with, because getting out of your car is not a crime apparently in Indiana, but just refusing to identify yourself in a valid traffic stop is. If he's lying about the window, any lawyer representing Vivian gets to ask the greatest question that you could ever ask as a trial lawyer, especially a criminal defense trial lawyer, and that is, were you lying then? Or are you lying now? Were you lying both times? Pretty much everything that you say is a lie, isn't it, Officer Schimmel? I mean, God, that would be so much fun. Not for the prosecutor, which is no doubt why, in my opinion, they dropped the charges. All right, and here we go. Let's look at some of the comments here on this viral YouTube video. The initial question I asked in my first pinned comment was, will anyone take the position that this police officer acted reasonably? If so, please explain your position. So there were, at least the time I took the screenshot, 33,344 comments. I scrolled through as many as I could given the time I had. There were a couple. Let's look at some. My initial observations. There's no audio, so we will not know what was said. She's not a little girl. She's 18 and an adult. The fact that she's a student is irrelevant. Like many of you, I have a teenage daughter that is a little girl, and she's physically little. I mean, an 11-year-old boy with just a week of jiu-jitsu training could completely manhandle her. I have no doubt. That was not a violent slam. That was a classic armbar takedown. Was it necessary? Probably not. I mean, the officer said his own words were that he slammed her. You can see her flying through the air onto the ground on the video, especially the part I didn't have to censor. Your commentary on someone to check on the cop's wife was off base. There were multiple comments criticizing that. Perhaps I shouldn't have said that. Obviously, it was tongue-in-cheek. We all know that there are statistics out there that say that the spouses or significant others of police officers are at a higher risk of being on the receiving end of domestic violence. And this guy clearly has a temper. So while it was tongue-in-cheek, most jokes are funny because there is a component of truth to them. Finally, when it comes to the blue line and other stickers, I consider them symbols. And I leave the symbols to the symbol-minded. Fair enough. You have your opinions, right? I'm not allowed to have mine, though, according to a lot of people. All she needed to do was comply instead of playing games. Then there wouldn't be a video. This reminds me of a meme that I made yesterday. All she had to do was roll the window down all the way. Does it matter that she did that? No. When a police officer says it, the police officer says it. Doesn't matter whether it's true, just comply. The girl acted like a spoiled brat, refusing to comply, which is all too common today. But because our society is full of spoiled and entitled brats, they feel entitled to whine and complain about how unfair the world is. Chuck it up to poor home training by their parents. Well, thanks, Angie Siege, but the only thing is, as I demonstrated in this video, this sweet little girl did actually comply. The police officer is the one who did not comply. He didn't comply with the Constitution. And for that reason, he was fired. And for that reason, the charges were dropped. Many of you said, well, he'll show up at another agency right down the street. If you want to prevent that from happening, continue to make that footage go viral. Spread that footage so that everybody has seen it. Clearly, this town doesn't want anything to do with them. Make it so that no town, that no county wants anything to do with them. That is the power of YouTube. That's the power of viral footage. It can do way more than any lawsuit could ever do, and much, much, much more quickly. Maybe there will be a part 3. We'll see if he does pop up somewhere else. So thanks for watching. Thanks for spreading the footage. If you're a new subscriber, keep watching. Have some other interesting videos coming up. If you have a video you want me to review, use the submission link below. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Angie Siege. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.